Hello. It's a bit of an early start for me, and I know there's nobody here, but we're doing a stream today, and I've moved my A cam over so you can see the bench because we're rebuilding my old Ender 3. The reason I'm doing this is mostly, honestly, for a friend of mine. I'm going on vacation next week, so there's no stream next weekend. But I wanted to. Friend's kiddo has started getting into engineering. I think they're in middle school. But like kids today, like if you're my age, you remember shop class, you like maybe raced soapbox derby racers and maybe learned how to use a drill press. Kids these days learn how to use 3D printers and how to do robotic stuff with Arduinos and things. And that's pretty awesome. And the kiddo's been getting into 3D printing, and I offered my old Ender 3, since I've upgraded to a Bamboo Lab quite a while back now. I offered my Ender 3. And this is the rebuild of that machine. This is an Ender 3 V1, which has been heavily upgraded. Obviously, you can tell probably not stock here on the tool head. There's a lot of it that's been upgraded, and basically today I'm doing a full overhaul of the hot end assembly. I'm upgrading the hot end from the stock, whatever it is. I think Creality calls it the V8 hot end, to their Spider unit, the Spider hot end. There we go. And so that's going to go in there. Also, depending on where this is on the where this carriage is on the x-axis, this fan will stop spinning. So there's a break in the fan wire somewhere along here, and I'm guessing it's back here where it rotates with this drag chain, which again, also not stock. I printed out and assembled these drag chains myself. They're pretty great, although obviously there is a pinch point there with that fan wire, so I've got replacement fan wires for that. I'm assuming I'm going to need to do some soldering, most likely, because if this is where I think the pinch point is, that's right in the middle of this wire, so there's no connector there. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, I've got just a whole bunch of like goodies and extra parts for the kiddo when they start using this thing. So I've got like all the printer nozzles you could ever freaking need. Also some large ones, nozzle cleaning needles. These are actually the wrong silicone socks for this heat block. These are the replacement wires. I've got a whole kit of replacement PTFE tubes, as well as pneumatic connectors. So we're all good to go. We've got everything we need to rebuild this hot end, and I think they're going to really enjoy this printer. It's served me really well. Really, honestly, the only thing I really didn't like about it before I switched to my Bamboo was this extruder. It's very limited in its flow rate, and the Spider should improve that. So I'm going to take a look at the Spider hot end first. You can see what we're working with here. Get this thing out of here. I don't think I'll have to change the shroud here, the fan shroud, because I think this is the same length as the stock hot end. But that is the Spider. And you see that's a pretty beefy design versus the original. If you've ever seen the original extruder on an Ender 3, it's pretty pathetic. But there's the heat block. The nozzle is the new style Sprite nozzles that they're shipping on like the V3 SE and all the other machines that use the Sprite extruder. So modern nozzle, modern hot end design, should be good. I think it's a bimetallic heat break too, so should be a pretty good upgrade. My hope is that I won't break any of the wires on anything here, because I don't think I have replacement thermistors for this, unfortunately. But we'll see. I'm gonna try not to break the thermistor wires. I really hope I don't break them, because I don't have time to get new ones. Anyway, who is here in the chat? Hello, hello. Charlotte is here. Hello, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Sean Lynch, BPS Car Audio. Hello, long-time watcher, first-time commenter. Hello, welcome to the stream. Blake DMC is here. Hello. Oh yeah, for real. Charlotte says, I love 3D printing, although living in the UK, humidity has a habit of ruining my PLA if I leave it exposed in the air for too long. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm here in a desert and it's still a problem, just because the, internal in-house humidity is much higher than it is outside. It is still an issue here. In fact, I was wrestling with that this morning. My roll of pink PLA appears to have pooped the bed, as it were, and it won't adhere to my build plate anymore. Mike N says, hello, Pickle is here. Pickle says, I have an Ender 3 V2. Yeah, this is the oldie. I picked this up 3 years ago on severe discount. 3 years ago, Bamboo Lamp didn't exist. And I got this thing for 160 bucks. It's 160, 180. Something like that. Under $200, comfortably under $200, and I got the optional glass build plate because the meta at the time was that the build plates on these weren't manufactured terrifically well. When I say build plate, I mean the aluminum sheet that this is the actual build plate. This is the part that gets hot. That these weren't manufactured super well, and plus they were shipped flat. So that you had a real possibility of the build plate bending and shipping. So the meta was to get the glass build plate because it was more square than the aluminum. So I actually have the original Garolite and polycarbonate, or whatever this is, the original print bed for this thing, which is, you can see it's nice and fluffy. That's Garolite on the back. I've never used this. I have no idea how well it works. From what I hear, it works great for a few prints and then stops working. With this machine, I've always printed on glass, and it's been fantastic. You can see I've got some residue from glue stick on it. I don't care. There's some weird there's some weird stuff going on about oh, don't use glue stick. It's a crutch. I'd rather have a successful print and wash some glue stick off the bottom of it than spend, a whole day tuning my printer just for it to go out of alignment the next day. So my experience with this thing has been not that bad. You can see I use 3 binder clips on this for the build plate. I don't actually put this binder clip on. I think this side is a little low because every time I have this on, my build level goes out of alignment, and yeah, the lead screw on the back is real dirty. So on the agenda is, first of all, I'm going to clean this thing up, and then I'm going to take apart this hot end, and it's going to take a while. It's why I started the stream early. I don't think it's going to take like 5 hours, but I just want to be sure. I guess the first thing I should probably do is just power the thing on and make sure it's still working after sitting on my floor for 6 months. And make sure we don't have bigger problems. Kind of important. Don't want to give away a broken printer. Where did I put my power plug? It looks like it's here. Yeah, looks like she works. Let's get the desk cam up. So there we go. Desk cam's in kind of an unfortunate position. I totally just put my finger on that lead screw. Ugh, gross. But yeah, you can see this thing is heavily modified. But it makes it really quiet. Well, until these things spool up to full speed, but like at idle, it's pretty quiet. I've got it's a 60 millimeter fan back here on the power supply. That's just a Noctua 60 millimeter fan. It's too thick to go inside the housing, so I have it on the outside of the housing. It looks a little janky, but it works. I think that it also reverses the airflow. So the normal fan on this thing on the power supply blows outwards. This one obviously is an intake. It's pushing air into the heat and into the power supply. It's fine. I'm accomplishing these through a couple of buck converters. You can see that one on the side there, running at 9 volts. That keeps it quieter as well. And then I've got one on this other side here. Can't see, but it's on this side right here, and it is set to 12 volts. And that one is for the hot end fan, which is obviously not working because it's in one of those positions where it doesn't spin. Oh, and now it doesn't spin at all. Oh, that's nice. So that wire is going to get replaced. That's one of the issues. This should be spinning at this point, but that wire is broken. That's one of the things we're fixing today. So yeah, this is the beastie. Turn this thing off. But that basically, like, this thing built the channel essentially. All of the 3D printed test bench cases. You know, these guys? I prototyped them all on this printer. So, if somebody ever tells you that a $160 printer isn't worth it, you can't do anything real with it, they're totally wrong. Cheap printers are great. As long as the printer works, it doesn't matter how much it costs. So, let's see, what do we got in the chat here? Blake DMC says, been doing tests with my new personal router, Ubiquity Dream router. Nice. Love it. Still salty that it's being bottlenecked by Comcast. No, I don't want AT&T either. Right? That's the power of the free market, Blake. You can choose bad or worse. Yep. BPS Car Audio says, yes, really bad. Glass is nice. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Blake DMC says one of these days I want to see if what I can do to invest in Ubiquity ISP equipment, so hopefully in the long run, it'll save my family from paying a subscription to any mainstream ISP mess. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Charlotte says, surprised face, the source of the Amber Bench. Yes, this is the thing that made it. That made it possible, even. Oh yeah, data caps are the worst. Yeah, so I'm also saddled by Comcast, and yeah, you gotta pay an extra fee to not have a data cap on your hardwired internet in 2024. They shouldn't exist. They should be broken up and publicly owned. They don't deserve to exist. Mike N says, I got an Ender clone from a garage sale for $10 and fixed it for $8 more. Oh yeah. We should do a little tour of the mods on this thing. Obviously the fans are a big part of it, but also I've got, you can see I've relocated the motherboard to the back of the machine. That's mostly to get it in line with these drag chains, which are another mod, obviously. These are a pain in the butt. I think the most time on this build is going to be spent by me redoing these drag chains, because they take forever to assemble, because you gotta click every single piece in. It's really annoying. But the motherboard is not stock. This is a Big Tree Tech SKR Mini E3 mainboard, which is honestly a pretty decent upgrade. Like, it's pretty cheap. I think it's 35 or 40 bucks for the mainboard, and it gives you silent stepper drivers. It also gives you much better control over your acceleration and jerk rates than the stock firmware, which is pretty nice. And then of course I've got a little fan back here to cool it, and that fan is also quite quiet. Turn this back on. You can see it's just keeps everything cool back there. Pretty much everything on this is like a printed upgrade. There's a couple of like actual physical upgrades. Obviously the extruder is not stock. This is the stock extruder on the Ender 3 V1 is plastic, and it's really cheap injection molded plastic. This is the metal upgrade. I think it's honestly like $10. If you do this upgrade, or you want to do this upgrade to your Ender 3, I recommend getting the replacement stepper motor as well. There's an extruder stepper motor on like eBay or on Amazon, because especially like Ender 3s that were manufactured recently have a stepper motor shaft that doesn't have a detent in it. It's just a smooth round shaft, and they just press the hobbed gear right onto it. Good luck getting that apart without breaking the stepper motor. I don't have the equipment to do it here, so I just tossed that motor and got a normal stepper motor with a detent on the shaft. I did buy it from Creality because also Creality rewires their stepper motors in a strange way, so you can use a normal stepper motor with these. You just have to rewire the cable that plugs into them to work with their main boards. I didn't want to bother with it. Also, the stepper motor is like, I don't know, $8 maybe. So I recommend this. If you've got an Ender 3 and it's starting to give you weird, inconsistent extrusions, it's probably time to replace the extruder with something metal. So altogether, I think this is like $20, $25 upgrade to do the extruder and the stepper motor. Other than that, I haven't really had any problems with it. I'd say the second most important upgrade to do on an Ender 3 is replacing the bed springs with the higher compression bed springs. Whatever you end up getting, I think these are gold colored. There's like yellow ones. The point though is that they have more squishing force than the stock springs, so they keep the bed rigid, more rigid than the stock springs do, so that these adjustment wheels can't turn themselves out while you're printing, because this bed moves back and forth, right? And depending on your speed settings, it can move back and forth rather violently, and that can throw these wheels out of alignment. It's the other reason I don't actually like to use the metal adjustment knobs, because I feel like these have the plastic ones are fine, and they have a little less, I mean, I guess the metal ones have more inertia, but these ones also, like, they're not going to move around as much, because there's just not as much to them. The whole point is to keep the leveling screw in place with the spring. That's what the spring is mostly there for. So anyway, I am wasting time at this point. It's time to dig in. I'm procrastinating. Let's start the rebuild. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is vacuum this thing off, and I'll mute my mic so y'all don't have to hear my vacuum cleaner. We'll start with this. I will mute. I'll be right back. Okay. This thing didn't want to start. Oh, I need a new vacuum cleaner, but I'm moving in 6 months. I don't want to get a new one before then. I'll just buy a new one when I get to my new place. Alright, anyway. Let's pop the bed off of here. I'm gonna give these a good clean. I've got this one, I've got a replacement one up there. Both of them are going out with this machine. And I'll give them both a good clean before they go. That is that. Yeah, I didn't really explain a lot of the mods. This is the Sauna V2 cooler, I guess fan shroud. This is a modified version that houses two 5015 blowers, which is way more cooling power than the stock Ender 3 has with its little 4010 that's on the side of it. This has also been further modified to make it pretty visible. In the middle, you can see there's a gap here between the two blower fans. It lets you see the nozzle, make sure that the print is coming along correctly and like the extruder is extruding as you're expecting. You probably noticed when I powered it on that the screen is not the original monocolor, text LCD. That is the accompanying TFT35 screen upgrade for the big TreeTech SKR Mini. I got them as a bundle for I think $70 total, which was I felt like a pretty good deal. But it is a touch screen, which is kind of nice, and yeah, it's pretty nice. It lets you relocate your SD card to the screen. Pull this back, you can see you can relocate your SD card with prints on it to the side of the thing, which is nice. I think it's good. It's a pretty reasonable upgrade for a machine like this, especially if it's working well for you. It seems like a no-brainer to me. All right, so the part I've been dreading. Time to take apart this hot end. Super not looking forward to this. Let me grab my iFixit screwdrivers. Always helpful. Never know when you need weird random sizes of things. That's gonna be a little bigger. This size. That is, okay. Start out with that. You see any of that? Yes, sorta. So I'm just undoing the screws at the front of the... This is the hot end cooling fan, so this is the part that cools the heatsink on the hot end. So this fan is cooling this part of the heatsink, or this part of the hot end here. So that creates a temperature gradient. You've got the hottest part of the tool head is down here at the nozzle, and then this keeps the rest of it cool. So you have solid filament going in. It gets melted in the heat block. So this fan's kind of important. The fact that it's not working makes it less than useful. It's funny, Blake, because I'm actually really super behind on home networking. I did help wire my parents' house when I was living there, and then pretty much as soon as I moved out, living in apartments, there's not a lot you can do. So I actually, for most of this channel's life, my home lab actually only had a 10100 Ethernet adapter in it, and I just sort of made do with it. So I'd get 30 gigabytes of A-roll off of my main camera, stick it in my card reader, and then, all right, well, that's going to copy for the next 6 hours. I guess I'll go do something else. I only recently upgraded my home lab, probably a month ago at this point, maybe a month and a half, to an X99 Xeon system with a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet card in it. So I've got a fresh 2.5 gig Ethernet switch. I've got a 2.5 gig card in my main machine here that you're seeing this stream coming from. And it's been really nice. It's been really nice. Just copying stuff over to the NAS at like 250 megabytes per second. It's been great. I'm living in the future. Oh, come on there. Another thing, if you've got an Ender 3 and you want it to go faster, there's two things that are going to be limiting you. Honestly, at the outset, the thing that's going to be limiting you is your cooling performance from that 4010 blower fan that's usually on the side. But if you have the stock mainboard, you can only really upgrade it to a single 5015. If you go dual 5015, there's a chance that you'll blow out your fan MOSFET on your motherboard. So obviously the Big Tree Tech SKR Mini E3 can handle 2 fans, but I didn't realize that when I went dual fan. That there was a possibility I'd blow out the MOSFET on it, so be careful if you're looking at doing a cooling upgrade. So with the fans out, I can get access to the screws that are in here. You can't really see them on the camera, sorry about that. This one I don't think I actually needed to remove, but whatever. It's good for clearance. So start with these little guys, and hopefully this is not yet another size of hex bolt. Nope, good. It's so funny because I was looking for. I'm hoping that this shroud is going to work. Otherwise, I'm going to have to print out a new one on my A1 over there. Because this, I think this should be the same height. The Spider hot end should be the same height as the stock hot end. But if it's not, I'll have to go looking for a new fan shroud. Okay, so that's the fan shroud off. And in fact, with the fans disconnected, we can take the fan shroud completely off of the thing. And it's held up pretty well, honestly. Like, you'd think for just a PLA print that's that close to that much heat, it'd be in worse shape, but it's honestly pretty good. It's super, super dirty on the backside because this is all glue stick residue, but mostly it's perfectly fine. We've got some iffy, you can see some iffy extrusion there on these little ducts here. That was that way when I printed it. It just didn't print quite correctly. It prints this direction, so this orientation. So these are unsupported other than whatever you have for your support settings. I don't think I used the right settings when I printed this, but it's been working fine. But like the part I would expect to be, you know, to be sagging would be these ducts up here, and they look basically fine, you know? Yeah, these look basically fine. So it's clearly been holding up. It helps that there's constantly air moving through it. When people say, oh, you can't use PLA in a high temperature environment, like if you've got any kind of active cooling, the PLA is going to survive a lot longer. You can get cool air in there and cooling the PLA, it should be fine. It's not quite that sensitive to heat. That is looking pretty good. Okay, get the dust off of me. All right. So there's our stock hot end. You can see how wimpy that is, but this should go right on there. And yeah, these are the same. Yes, these are the same height. It is drop-in replacement to get the spider hot end. So that's going to go in. And then I think I'm going to tackle the wiring for this hot end fan. So that should be more of the smaller of these. Oh, this is a different size, I think. Smaller still. There we go. Clarge on OnePlus is here. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Blake DMC asks, don't you hate that you have to update a lot of games nowadays? I miss physical media. Yeah. Although I'll say, bug fixes for the games I play are like instantaneous. If there's a bug in it, like within a week it's usually fixed, which is pretty great. Like that's the... We all hate telemetry in our games, but like that's what it's supposed to do. If your game developer isn't mean, the telemetry is supposed to be used for good, i.e., fixing bugs in the game. This is all right. That's a Phillips head. Of course, it's a Phillips head, and those are yet smaller. There's a grub screw in there that's holding in the heater core. It is a yet smaller size hex nut. Yep, that's that size. And the other one, the thermistor, is being held in by a cap head Phillips screw. So we need a Phillips adapter here. I'm going to get the thermistor out first so I don't break it. I'm so shocked. There's hair on it. Can't imagine why there'd be hair on my hot end. To everyone in the audience who has long hair, you know the struggle. So there's the grub screw for the heater core, and that should fit. That should be a direct swap over to the Spider. Yeah, that'll fit right in there. No problem. Cool. So this is also, if you want to know all the upgrades for this thing, this is also an upgrade. I put a 60-watt heater block in this thing a while back. It doesn't really help, because the main limitation with the stock hot end here, with the stock hot end, is there's just not enough melt zone. So this is a PTFE lined hot end. So the PTFE tube here, which is this thing, this big blue tube here, goes all the way down to here in the heat block. If I wrench this off of here with this wrench, I think. We should be able to see. Oh, it doesn't want to come. Hang on. Don't worry about it. Excessive force was applied off screen, but if I wrench this off of here, we can see there's the nozzle, right? So it screws all the way into the bottom of those threads. There's the PLA. And can you see it in there? Let's see if I can get a light here. And just barely make out. There's the PTFE right there in the bottom of that little well there. And that's the PTFE right there. So, not a lot of melt zone. Not a lot of melt zone at all. It's honestly, it's probably your biggest deterrent to printing quickly on an Ender 3, is the lack of a melt zone. There's a couple ways you can fix that. The the super budget way to fix it that you may have seen, that's not the right slot that goes in. The super budget way to fix that you may have seen around on 3D printing, on the 3D printing verse, is basically to use a volcano nozzle, which is one of these, but these threads are about, instead of being this long, they're about this long. So then you screw the volcano nozzle in as far as it'll go, and then you add brass washers over the top of it. So you've got, it kind of extends your melt zone a little bit. The brass ends up, you know, keeping that heat in and transferring it into the volcano nozzle, which then transfers into the plastic. It's yeah. That's the inexpensive way to do it. The not inexpensive way to do it is just change the whole hot end. And this, I believe, is an all metal hot end. I'm pretty sure. The PTFE in this, I think, goes down to about here on the heatsink. So then this whole heater block ends up being used as a hot end. Okay, YouTube's giving me yellow warnings. What is going on? Got some dropped frames. Nice. Thanks, Comcast. Hopefully everybody can still hear and see me. Sorry about that. What were we just saying about Comcast being terrible? We have actual evidence right here. Let's see. So the next part about this is that it just mounts right onto the stock heatsink mounts that are already on the carriage. Piece of cake. It should be exactly as long as the other one, so that should be a really easy fix. Let's get the right screws. That's the ones that, oh, I bet it comes with screws. It's a little bit thicker. It does come with screws. You get all kinds of goodies in here. There we go. Looks like we've stopped dropping packets. Sorry about that. Oh, all kinds of goodies. We get some good old GD900 thermal grease. If you're part of the thermal grease meta, this is the super cheap stuff you can get in bulk. Supposedly works just as well as Arctic. We get Allen wrenches.